The massive alien ship appeared without warning, materializing just beyond Mars' orbit. It dwarfed anything humans had ever built, stretching nearly 10 miles from end to end. Behind it, hundreds of smaller vessels emerged from what looked like tiers in space itself. Inside the United Nations emergency session in New York, screens displayed the approaching fleet. World leaders sat in stunned silence as their worst fears came true. First contact would not be peaceful. People of Earth, the message boomed through every communication device on the planet, transmitted in perfect English. We are the Galactic Empire, rulers of 10,000 star systems. Your primitive world has been chosen for integration into our domain. Surrender within 7 standard days, or face extinction. The alien commander, visible on screens worldwide, stood tall and proud. His crystalline armor gleamed under the lights of his bridge, and his 4 eyes blinked in sequence as he waited for Earth's response. President Thompson of the United States gripped the edges of his podium at the UN. He looked around the room, meeting the eyes of other world leaders. They all shared the same secret, the same hidden smile. For 40 years, they had prepared for this moment. Admiral Wilson, are you seeing this? Thompson spoke quietly into his secure comm unit. Yes, Mr. President. Atlantic Fleet is ready. Just give the word. Similar conversations happened in secret bunkers across the globe, under the Pacific Ocean, deep beneath the Antarctic ice, and inside hollowed-out mountains. Humanity's real military might waited. The alien commander grew impatient. Your silence suggests confusion. Perhaps a demonstration is needed. One of his smaller ships moved forward, firing a single shot that vaporized an abandoned space station. We have detected your primitive satellite network, your basic space vessels, and your nuclear weapons, the commander continued. None of these pose any threat to us. Submit, and we will guide your species to enlightenment. In the depths of the Mariana Trench, Captain Lisa Moore watched the alien transmission from her command chair. Around her, the bridge crew of the UEAs, Defiant, ran final system checks. Their ship, like hundreds of others hidden across Earth, represented the pinnacle of human engineering combined with reversed-engineered alien technology. All ships report ready, her XO reported. Excellent, Moore replied, allowing herself a small smile. Now we wait for the signal. Back at the UN, President Thompson finally stepped forward to address the alien transmission. To the representatives of the Galactic Empire, he began, his voice steady. We thank you for your generous offer. However, we require time to consult with all Earth's nations. We request the full 7 days to provide our answer. The alien commander's upper lip curled in what might have been amusement. Granted, though you waste time postponing the inevitable. We have conquered worlds far more advanced than yours. As the transmission ended, the real work began. Across the planet, hidden hangar doors prepared to open. Maintenance crews ran final checks on ships that had never seen combat but had been designed and refined over decades. Pilots and crews who had trained in secret their entire careers took their stations. The Empire's fleet settled into a holding pattern around Mars, their sensors constantly scanning Earth. They detected nothing unusual, exactly as planned. Humanity's greatest achievement hadn't just been building their secret fleet. It had been keeping it hidden all these years. In the Pacific Command Center, General Roberts watched the alien fleet's formation on his tactical display. They're positioning themselves exactly where we predicted they would. He noted to his staff. Overconfidence makes them predictable. The next 7 days would change everything. Humanity had hidden its true capabilities for decades, knowing this day would come. They had one chance to surprise the Empire, one opportunity to show them that Earth wasn't the primitive world they thought it was. As the first day drew to a close, Captain Moore's voice echoed through the hidden chambers of the Defiant. All hands, battle stations will commence in 6 days. Make every hour count. The Empire had ordered Earth to surrender. Soon, they would learn just how dangerous that mistake was. 40 years earlier, in a remote valley of Montana, A team of scientists stood around a crashed alien ship. The vessel had appeared suddenly, trailing smoke and debris, before plowing into the mountainside. Its pilot was dead, but the ship's systems were largely intact. Dr. James Miller, then a young physicist, touched the strange metal of the hull. "This changes everything," he whispered. Within hours, the military had secured the area. Within days, the world's top minds were examining every inch of the vessel. What they found was beyond their wildest dreams. The ship's computer contained star maps of the Empire, details of their technology, and most importantly, their weaknesses. The Empire had grown lazy with power, their ships using the same designs for centuries. "They haven't innovated in over 500 years," Dr. Miller explained to the Joint Chiefs 3 months later. "They believe they've reached the peak of technological advancement. That's their biggest mistake." The world's governments made an unprecedented decision. Knowledge of the crash would remain hidden. A new organization was formed, operating in secret across every continent. They called it Project Guardian. Deep beneath the Nevada desert, massive facilities were built. Similar complexes appeared in the Sahara, the Australian outback, and the Siberian wilderness. Each site focused on different aspects of the alien technology. 10 years after the crash, the first prototype was ready. In an underwater testing facility near Hawaii, engineers watched as their new alloy proved 3 times stronger than the Empire's hull material. They had taken the alien metal and improved it. "The Empire thinks technological advancement must be linear," Dr. Miller wrote in his journal. "They follow the same paths their ancestors did. But humans? We think differently. We combine ideas. We find new paths." Project Guardian's greatest breakthrough came from an unexpected source. Tom Baker, a video game designer, suggested using AI systems in ways the Empire had never considered. While they used basic computer controls, Earth's ships would have AI co-pilots that could think and adapt. "The Empire's ships are powerful but predictable," Baker explained. "They fight like machines. Our ships will fight like humans, with creativity and instinct." 20 years after the crash, the first full-sized ship was completed. Hidden in an underwater base off the coast of Japan, the UES Prometheus represented humanity's future. Its hull was stronger than Empire ships, its weapons more efficient, and its systems more advanced. But one ship wasn't enough. Using automated underground factories, Earth began mass-producing vessels in secret. Every major nation hosted hidden shipyards. The public remained unaware, seeing only their supposedly primitive space program. "Deception is our greatest weapon," General Williams told his staff. "Every rocket failure, every setback in our space program, it's all part of the plan. The Empire's spies see exactly what we want them to see." 30 years after the crash, Earth had a fleet. Hundreds of ships waited in underwater hangars and mountain bunkers, their crews trained in virtual reality, preparing for a war they hoped would never come. Dr. Miller, now with gray hair and wrinkled hands, stood in the command center beneath Mount Cheyenne. Around him, screens showed Earth's hidden power, ships that could outmaneuver anything in the Empire's fleet, weapons that could pierce their strongest shields. "We've done something they never expected," he told his assembled team. "We've taken their technology and made it better, not by following their rules, but by breaking them." The young scientists and engineers nodded. They had grown up in this secret world, dedicated to preparing Earth for the day the Empire would come. That day was now here. In his private quarters, Dr. Miller opened his old journal. On the first page, written 40 years ago, were the words that had guided Project Guardian. "They will expect us to submit. Instead, we will rise. They will expect us to follow. Instead, we will lead." He closed the journal and looked at the latest report. In 6 days, the Empire would learn just how much humanity had achieved in secret. In 6 days, everything would change. The 7th day dawned with unusual calm. The Empire's fleet hung in space, their weapons primed, waiting for Earth's surrender. Their commander stood proudly on his bridge, expecting to add another primitive world to their vast empire. At exactly 600 UTC, everything changed. The Pacific Ocean began to bubble. At first, the Empire's sensors dismissed it as natural seismic activity. Then massive doors began to open in the ocean floor. Similar events triggered across the globe, in the Atlantic, the Indian Ocean, the Arctic, and the Mediterranean. "Sir," an Empire officer called out, "we're detecting massive energy signatures from the planet's oceans." The commander rushed to his viewing screen. His four eyes widened as he watched humanity's first real warships rise from the waves. The UES Defiant broke the surface first, water cascading off its gleaming hull. It was soon followed by dozens, then hundreds of others. In the Antarctic, mile-wide sections of ice split apart, revealing hidden launch bays. Ships that had never seen sunlight emerged from their frozen shelter. Their dark hulls absorbed radar and light, making them nearly invisible to standard sensors. "Impossible," the Empire commander whispered. "Their technology level. It was all a lie." High in the Rocky Mountains, hidden hangar doors opened in seemingly solid rock faces. Ships launched from inside the mountains, their engines lighting up the morning sky. Similar scenes played out in the Alps, the Andes, and the Himalayas. Inside the UES Defiant, Captain Moore watched her tactical display as the Earth's true fleet revealed itself. "All ships report ready," her XO announced. "Fleet coordination systems online." "Send the message," Moore ordered. Across every communication channel, on every frequency the Empire could monitor, humanity's response rang out. "To the Galactic Empire, we reject your offer of surrender. You have 1 hour to leave our solar system." The Empire commander's rage was visible even through the video feed. "You dare. You think your deception will save you. We will crush your fleet and then burn your world." President Thompson stood in the Global Command Center, watching as humanity's ships took their planned positions. "They're reacting exactly as expected," he noted. "Tactical analysis. Their ships are moving into standard Imperial attack formation," General Roberts replied. "Just like the simulations. They're about to learn that fighting humans is nothing like their simulations." In space, the Empire fleet began to move. Their massive ships turned ponderously, preparing to descend on Earth. But humanity's ships were already in motion, executing battle plans rehearsed for decades. The first surprise came when the Empire's initial sensor sweep passed harmlessly through Earth's fleet. Their scanning technology, unchanged for centuries, couldn't properly track humanity's stealth systems. Multiple targets lost. Empire officers shouted in confusion. New signatures appearing behind our lines. Earth's ships moved with a speed and agility that shocked the Imperial forces. Where Empire ships turned in wide, predictable arcs, humanity's vessels spun and weaved like fighters. The AI co-pilots calculated trajectories that would have been impossible for any organic crew alone. Captain Moore's voice echoed through the Defiant. "All ships, execute Battle Plan Delta. Show them what we can do." The Earth fleet split into smaller groups, each targeting specific weaknesses in the Empire's formation. Ships emerged from stealth at point-blank range, fired, and vanished again before the Empire could respond. "Their shield technology," the Empire commander growled. "It's more advanced than ours. How is this possible?" In the command center, Dr. Miller watched with pride. 40 years of preparation," he said quietly. 40 years of improving on their designs while letting them think we were helpless. The battle was just beginning, but already the Empire's neat formations were breaking apart. Their commanders had never faced an enemy that fought like this. Unpredictable, aggressive, innovative. As the first hour of combat drew to a close, humanity's message became clear. Earth wasn't just fighting back. They were fighting to win. The Empire commander's flagship rocked with another direct hit. Around him, display screens showed the unthinkable. A third of his fleet was already destroyed or disabled. The humans weren't just fighting back. They were winning. How are they targeting our shield gaps? He demanded, slamming his fist on his command chair. Those vulnerabilities are classified at the highest level. In the cockpit of her strike fighter, Lieutenant Kate Adams smiled as her eye co-pilot highlighted another weak point in the Empire's defenses. The crashed ship from 40 years ago had revealed everything, including the precise spots where Imperial shields were weakest. "Strike Group Alpha, follow my lead," she commanded, leading her squadron through a gap in the Empire's formation. Their smaller ships moved like wasps among giants, hitting critical systems and vanishing before the Empire's gunners could respond. The UEA's Defiant coordinated the attack from the edge of the battle. Captain Moore watched as humanity's strategy unfolded. "Launch the drones," she ordered. Thousands of small, unmanned craft deployed from Earth's ships, overwhelming the Empire's targeting systems. "Their weapons can't track our smaller units," Moore's tactical officer reported. "The Empire's computers are programmed to ignore anything below a certain size. They think they're just debris." The Empire's response was predictable, exactly as humanity had planned. Their ships formed a tight defensive sphere, a formation they had used for centuries. It would have been impenetrable against conventional attacks. But humanity wasn't fighting conventionally. "All ships, execute Maneuver Theta," General Roberts commanded from Earth. The human fleet split into 3 layers. The outer layer launched missiles, forcing the Empire's shields to full power. The middle layer used focused energy weapons, creating interference patterns in those shields. The inner layer then struck with humanity's secret weapon. Phase-shifted quantum torpedoes that passed through the weakened shields as if they weren't there. "Impossible," the Empire commander shouted as explosions rippled through his fleet. "Their weapons, they're using principles we've never seen." Dr. Miller watched the battle from the command center, nodding in satisfaction. "We didn't just copy their technology," he explained to the gathered leaders. "We asked questions they never thought to ask. Why does shield geometry have to be regular? Why can't weapons be programmed to change frequency mid-flight?" The Empire's return fire was devastating but increasingly ineffective. Their weapons, designed to destroy large capital ships, struggled to hit Earth's smaller, more agile vessels. When they did score direct hits, they found humanity's layered defense systems far more resilient than expected. Lieutenant Adams' fighter group disabled another Empire cruiser, targeting its engines with surgical precision. "Confirmed kill," she reported. "These Empire ships fight like they're following a script. No adaptation, no creativity." The Empire commander was reaching the same conclusion. His forces had trained against simulated enemies that fought according to known patterns. But the humans, they were chaos incarnate, unpredictable, innovative. "Retreat to position Beta," he ordered. "Regroup and—" A direct hit from the UEA's Defiant cut him off. Captain Moore had predicted his fallback point. It was the same one used in Imperial tactical manuals for the last 300 years. "Enemy flagship is crippled," Moore reported to command. "First wave of attack is successful. Casualties minimal." In the Global Command Center, President Thompson watched as the Empire fleet broke formation for the first time. "They're running," he observed. "Not running," General Roberts corrected. "They're calling for reinforcements." This was just their advance fleet. Dr. Miller nodded grimly. "Good. Let them call for help. Every Empire ship that comes here is one more that will learn not to underestimate humanity." The first major space battle in human history was ending. Earth had bloodied the Empire's nose, but everyone knew this was just the beginning. The real test would come when the main Imperial fleet arrived. But humanity had shown something important. They weren't just ready for this fight. They had been preparing for it their entire lives. 3 days after the first battle, thousands of new ships appeared at the edge of the solar system. The Empire's main battle fleet had arrived, 10 times larger than the first wave. Their ships filled the space from Neptune to Uranus, a massive wall of steel and energy. "All stations, report," Captain Moore commanded from the UES Defiant, now stationed near Mars. Multiple hyperspace signatures, her sensor officer replied. Over 3,000 capital ships. Energy readings are off the scale. The new Empire commander's transmission reached every human ship and station. You have impressed us, humans. Your deception was clever. But now you face the true might of the Empire. Surrender, and some of you may live. In the Lunar Command Base, General Roberts studied the tactical display. The Empire fleet was different this time. Their formation was looser, more adaptable. They had learned from their first defeat. They're not underestimating us anymore, he noted. Good. Now we'll show them what we can really do. Lieutenant Adams and her fighter squadron patrolled the asteroid belt, using the rocks as cover. Her eye co-pilot detected movement. Empire scouts, she reported. They're being cautious this time. The Empire's new strategy became clear as their fleet split into smaller, more mobile groups. They had studied the recordings of their first defeat and adapted their tactics. Now they were fighting more like humans. But humanity had prepared for this too. Execute Operation Thunderstorm, President Thompson ordered from the Earth Command Center. Hidden bases on Mars, which the Empire hadn't detected, suddenly powered up. Defensive platforms emerged from beneath the red sand, catching the Empire ships in a crossfire. At the same time, stealth satellites around Jupiter activated, launching swarms of autonomous fighter drones. Your adaptation is impressive, the Empire commander transmitted. But we have numbers on our side. Your defeat is inevitable. His transmission cut off as the first human quantum mines detonated. These weapons had been hidden throughout the solar system for decades, waiting for this moment. Dr. Miller watched from the command center as his latest weapons performed their deadly work. The mines don't just damage their ships, he explained. They disrupt their quantum communications. Each Empire ship is now fighting alone. The battle spread across the entire solar system. Near Saturn, Empire cruisers found themselves fighting ghosts as human ships used the planet's rings for cover. Their advanced sensors, confused by ice and rock, couldn't distinguish real ships from decoys. Captain Moore led the Defiant through a massive debris field, her AI systems calculating paths no human could plot alone. Launch disruption pods, she ordered. The small devices attached to Empire ships, interfering with their internal communications. They're fighting better this time, Lieutenant Adams noted as her squadron engaged another group of Empire ships. But they're still too rigid, too predictable. They fight by the book. The Empire's numerical advantage was fearsome. They could lose 10 ships for every human vessel and still win. But humanity wasn't fighting fair. Hidden bases on Pluto, built in secret over decades, launched electromagnetic pulses that rippled through space. Empire shields, designed to stop physical weapons, did nothing against this invisible attack. Entire squadrons went dark. Impossible. The Empire commander watched as his carefully planned attack fell apart. These humans, they're fighting with techniques we've never seen. In the lunar base, General Roberts smiled grimly. We've had 40 years to think about how to beat you, he said quietly. 40 years to plan while you thought we were primitive. The battle raged for hours. Empire ships fought with desperate fury, but they were fighting an enemy that had spent generations preparing specifically for them. Every human weapon and tactic was designed to exploit Imperial weaknesses. As the fighting reached its peak, Dr. Miller received an urgent message from deep space sensors. Sir, a technician reported, we're detecting more hyperspace signatures. The Empire is bringing in their reserve fleet. The true test was about to begin. But humanity had one more surprise waiting. Their greatest weapon wasn't their ships or their technology. It was their determination to remain free. The Empire's reserve fleet emerged from hyperspace near Jupiter, their massive ships casting long shadows across the gas giant's moons. Over 5,000 vessels joined the battle, making it the largest fleet ever assembled in Imperial history. This ends today, the Empire's Grand Admiral announced, his hologram appearing before Earth's leaders. You have fought well, humans, but you cannot hope to defeat us all." President Thompson looked around the war room at the tired but determined faces of Earth's military command. "Should we tell them?" he asked with a slight smile. General Roberts nodded. "It's time for Protocol Omega." Captain Moore's voice crackled through the command channel. "All ships, battle positions for final protocol. This is what we've trained for." The human fleet, seemingly scattered and outnumbered, began to move. Every ship took precise positions around Jupiter, looking like they were making a last desperate stand. "They're surrendering," the Grand Admiral declared, watching the humans gather. "All ships, advance." And he never finished the order. Jupiter's great red spot began to glow. 40 years of secret construction had hollowed out one of Jupiter's moons, turning it into humanity's greatest weapon. As the Empire fleet advanced, the hidden base activated. Energy spike. Empire sensors screamed. "Something's happening to Jupiter's magnetic field." Dr. Miller watched from the command center as his life's work activated. "The Empire thinks they understand gravity," he said quietly. "We're about to prove them wrong." Jupiter's powerful magnetic field, enhanced by human technology, became a weapon. Empire ships suddenly found their artificial gravity failing, their shield generators overloading, their weapons refusing to fire. "Now," Captain Moore commanded. Every human ship activated their quantum drives simultaneously. The combined effect created a gravity wave that rippled through space. Lieutenant Adams led her fighters through the chaos. "Their ships are helpless," she reported, watching Empire vessels tumble out of formation. "Their technology depends too much on stable gravity fields." The Empire's Grand Admiral watched in horror as his mighty fleet fell into disarray. "What is this weapon?" he demanded. "This defies all known physics." "No," Dr. Miller replied on all channels. "It just defies Imperial physics. Humans have always thought differently." The battle turned into a rout. Empire ships, their advanced technology rendered useless, could only watch as human vessels picked them apart with conventional weapons. The mighty Imperial fleet, terror of 1,000 worlds, was being defeated by a species they had dismissed as primitive. "All ships, deploy Phase 3, General Roberts ordered. Humanity's final surprise revealed itself as hidden shipyards around Saturn's rings activated. Fresh ships, held in reserve for this moment, joined the battle. The Empire's formations broke completely. Ships began retreating in panic, their carefully planned battle strategies useless against an enemy that rewrote the rules of physics itself. "Your empire ends here," President Thompson transmitted to the Grand Admiral. "But we offer you a choice. Retreat and tell your leaders what happened here. Tell them Earth is not to be threatened." Captain Moore watched from the Defiance Bridge as Empire ships fled in all directions. "They're running," her tactical officer reported. "Long-range sensors show they're abandoning the entire sector." In the Lunar Command Center, cheers erupted as the last Empire ships vanished into hyperspace. Humanity had won their first interstellar war. "It's not over," Dr. Miller cautioned. "The Empire will return, eventually, with new weapons, new tactics." "Let them come," Lieutenant Adams' reply from her fighter. "We'll be ready. We'll always be ready." The battle for Earth was over, but its impact would echo across the galaxy. The story would spread. How a supposedly primitive world had defeated the Empire's greatest fleet. How humans had turned the laws of physics themselves into weapons. As the solar system fell quiet again, Captain Moore made one final shipwide announcement. "To all crews, well done. Today we proved something important. It's not the size of the fleet that matters. It's the ingenuity of those who crew it." The Empire had ordered Earth to surrender. Instead, humanity had changed the galaxy forever. 1 month after the Empire's defeat, Earth's space around was different. Debris from the battle had been cleared, showing humanity's efficiency. But something else had changed. Ships from other civilizations began appearing at the edge of the solar system. They didn't come with weapons or threats. They came with offers of trade and alliance. Another diplomatic request, General Roberts reported during the morning briefing, this time from the Centauri Federation. That makes 15 different civilizations this week. President Thompson looked at the growing list of alien species seeking contact with Earth. They all want the same thing, don't they? Yes, Dr. Miller replied. They want our technology. More specifically, they want to know how we beat the Empire. In orbit around Earth, the UES Defiant had become a symbol. Alien diplomats requested tours of the ship that had helped lead humanity to victory. Captain Moore found herself playing tour guide to beings from across the galaxy. Your ships are remarkable, a blue-skinned ambassador commented during one such tour. But what's more remarkable is how you kept them hidden for so long. Lieutenant Adams, now promoted to squadron commander, led training exercises near Mars. Her fighters flew alongside alien vessels, teaching them new tactics. The Empire's defeat had changed everything. Now every civilization wanted to learn humanity's ways of space combat. The Empire ruled through fear and superior technology, Dr. Miller explained to a group of alien scientists. But they forgot something important. Technology isn't just about having advanced tools. It's about how creatively you use them. The Empire's response to their defeat surprised everyone. Instead of preparing for revenge, they sent diplomats. Their message was simple. They wanted peace. We have ruled the galaxy for 10,000 years, the Imperial Prime Minister announced in a historic transmission. You are the first species to defeat us in open combat. We would rather have you as allies than enemies. The truth about Earth's deception spread across the galaxy. How a seemingly primitive world had spent 40 years preparing in secret. How they had improved upon stolen Imperial technology while pretending to barely understand space travel. You made us overconfident, the Imperial Prime Minister admitted during peace negotiations. Every failed rocket launch, every primitive satellite, it was all planned. In the Lunar Command Center, now transformed into a diplomatic hub, General Roberts watched ships from 20 different species dock at the new space station. We're not just a military power anymore, he observed. We're becoming a galactic center of trade and knowledge. Captain Moore stood on the Defiant's observation deck, watching the busy space traffic around Earth. A year ago, we were pretending to be primitive, she said to her crew. Now we're teaching advanced combat techniques to species that have been in space for thousands of years. Earth's cities changed too. Alien technology and culture began mixing with human society. But it happened on humanity's terms. They chose what to adopt and what to keep of their own ways. The galaxy is changing. President Thompson addressed the UN. The Empire's absolute rule is over. A new age of cooperation and innovation is beginning. Dr. Miller spent his days sharing human scientific advances with alien researchers. Your species thinks differently, they told him. You see possibilities where we saw only fixed rules. In the asteroid belt, Lieutenant Adams trained new pilots, both human and alien. The key isn't just the technology, she explained to her students. It's the willingness to try new things, to break old patterns. The Empire's defeat had started a revolution. Across the galaxy, civilizations began questioning traditional ways of doing things. The human approach, combining technologies in new ways, thinking creatively about problems, spread like wildfire. President Thompson looked out his window at the new Earth. Aircraft shared the sky with alien vessels. Streets bustled with humans and extraterrestrials alike. And high above, humanity's fleet patrolled proudly, no longer hiding. They ordered us to surrender, he mused. Instead, we changed the galaxy. Dr. Miller, now retiring, made one final entry in his journal. 40 years ago, we found a crashed alien ship and chose to deceive the galaxy. Today, that deception has led to something remarkable, a new age of space exploration, where humanity leads not through force, but through innovation. The stars had never seemed brighter.